Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's edition of the program. The political wind of change that swept across Africa in the 1990s, with Cameroon highly affected, brought an awakening of mass participation consciousness in matters of election. The awareness that the ballot box could magically turn things around and effect a change in leadership was planted in the minds of the people. Along the line, a sense of frustration, accusations of elections rigging and cheating brought in apathy, trimming the number of people who registered and voted. Some leading political parties have boycotted crucial elections that could advance our democracy if they participated. According to Kate Morris Ellison, an American politician and lawyer, I quote, "Not voting is not a protest. It is a surrender." End of quote. The Social Democratic Front, SDF, and recently the Cameroon Renaissance Movement, CRM, have learned that lesson the hard way. Today, that spirit of mass participation in elections is re-emerging in Cameroon. The question we should attempt to answer on Press Hour today is, how can mass participation in elections affect its outcome? I will introduce the guest after this interlude. You are welcome back. This is Press Hour, broadcasting live from Balatu in Yaoundé, our production center, CRTV Production Center. The theme for today's debate is elections. How can mass participation affect the outcome of elections? And our guests, ladies and gentlemen, meet Madame Yvonne Mumabi. She is a civil society activist. Welcome, Yvonne.
Thank you, Killian. The pleasure is mine. Good morning. Oh, it's already good day, fellow Cameroonians and my co-panelists.
There's a question that has been going on in different fora for those who know you, because you are not only popular on Press Hour, you have a track record in so many political participation. At one time, people are asking, you are one time defending a lawyer for women's rights, human rights, civil society activist, but you have been a politician. How do you distinguish between being a civil society activist and a politician? How do you shake off one of those caps to fit in just one of the domains?
Yeah, drawing a line between the two is very easy. I got into politics from the civil society, and both are meant to contribute towards change, though in the political party it's partisan, and I think we have rules there that govern us as militants of political parties. Then, as a free thinker, a citizen of this country, a Republican citizen, somebody who thinks by our contributions we can impulse change, I do both distinctively. Those who complain are those who've not watched me or who've not walked with me. Let them watch us today and see me talk like every other Cameroonian. I like saying this: you don't do politics, it does you. Even
I was going to
if
say
you are
that.
where.
I was going to say that,
Yeah.
if you didn't say it yourself. And the new debate now is, should religious leaders, we're talking about those pastors, reverends, should they do politics? And the answer is yes, because if you don't do the politics, you allow it to dump on other people.
Please let me add this. They are leaders of huge numbers of people.
Yes.
They should participate in politics like citizens of a country, but not partisan
politics.
They should preach to their congregations and all those assembled in their different churches to be part of the change they want to see in their country by politically participating.
Thank you once again. Thank you once again. That is not only an introduction, it's also a lesson, it's also something that educates our viewers. Now meet Prince Michael Ngwese Ekoso. He is the president of the United Socialist Democratic Party, the USDP. Mr. President, we are very pleased to welcome you to our set today.
Thank you once more, Kilian. I am very, very pleased to and humbled to always respond to your invitation, which I find it very, very accommodating. And I want to say that each time I'm here, I feel privileged because I'm talking to at least 30 million of Cameroonians, and which is not a given. And so I want to take this opportunity to appreciate all the work that you people do here at the CRTV, and to also thank my fellow panelists, and especially all of them are very good and close friends, especially Madame Yvonne, Lucas Chefo, and Kedia. I am glad to be with you guys on this wonderful panel, and let's see how this discussion goes through with regards to the topic. And I believe that by the end of the day, our televiewers, Cameroonians, both at home and abroad, will be able to understand the roadmap for these discussions today.
Thank you very much. When we hear United Socialist Party, the socialist parties are always to the left, but from the level-headed manner in which you do things, I think you are a politician we have to go closer to. Thank you very much for always responding each time we call you.
Thank you very much.
Now I'm going to introduce Robert Kedia. Robert Kedia is an official from the Central Committee of the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, the CPDM. If you have not watched or listened to him, you are going to discover that he is made of hard substance. You're welcome to this program. Robert?
Thank you very much. Greetings to you, greetings to my co-panelists, greetings to all Cameroonian, especially, of course, our #1 sportman, President Paul Biya, that leads by example. We saw him taking the troops, our athletes from Cameroon to Paris, France, to participate at the ongoing Olympic game. So it's an opportunity for me to greet him and to encourage him again. He's very strong to lead the athletes. So those are the things that we are learning from him as a good leader, to lead the people. Yes. So it's a pleasure. I appreciate him for doing that.
Okay, we appreciate him, all of us, as citizens of Cameroon. I thought that you were going to raise the issue of saying that the Olympics, we had about 6 athletes from competitions that do not involve mass sports, collective sports like football and handball, like volleyball. But he went there fulfilling the promise he made, the declaration he made that there are no minor and no major sports in Cameroon. We give the same attention to them. Well, you didn't make mention of that. We have to do that. Thank you very much for coming. And at this moment, meet our own Lucas Teneng Chefo. Lucas Teneng Chefo, for those who also know him, know that he is a no-nonsense speaker when he takes the floor. He is an objective fellow. Thank you very much. You are the publisher of the Reporter newspaper.
Thank you, Kilian. Thank you for the flowers you're throwing on me. I hope I will be able to justify those flowers that you're throwing on me. But I try to be objective because I think we need to be objective in life. And as a journalist, I think I have to take the middle of the road position in everything in order not to be so partisan. And I think that today we are going to, because you might not have known what you've decided on today. The topic you've decided on today is very sensitive and it's very timely. And I think our discussions here will really enlighten most Cameroonians, and it will be our own way of building our nation. Because I think that what we will say here today might fill some holes that people have created in their minds, might dispel some misgivings, some misbeliefs that people are holding about mass participation in elections and about elections. So I think our discussions will help to fill those gaps and will push our country ahead.
Thank you very much. That is why we are here, to do everything that pushes our country ahead. And at this time, we are going to propose the press review for you, done for us by Yoti Kale Lesonge.
The ink well never runs dry as far as piecing together information is concerned. Print media organs went all out to keep readers abreast of happenings in and out of the country. Pictures of President Paul Biya and the former French President Nicolas Sarkozy in a tete-a-tete flooded the week's papers. The Horizon mentions the meeting but doesn't give details on their exchange, while Cameroon Tribune projects investment opportunities in the nation. Readers get the hint before flipping through the pages of Cameroon Insider, wherein it is revealed that both men discussed Mr. Sarkozy's imminent Yaoundé business trip. Revelations of a business trip at a time when the median is flashing a precarious economy. The article discloses that Cameroon is highly indebted and is still borrowing. Their findings reveal that between January and June 2024, the government has sealed 10 debt deals with different credit institutions for an amount of 620 billion CFA francs, according to the Autonomous Sinking Fund. As if to agree, Eco Outlook reports on Cameroon borrowing 6.6 billion CFA francs to meet up with budgetary setbacks. Notwithstanding, stakeholders are urged to focus on a positive socio-economic impact with regard to the 2025 state budget preparation, as seen on the post. To add just the right amount of zest, the government and the Cameroon Mining and Alumina Company, Camalco, have sealed a deal for bauxite exploitation in Minim Matap, write the Guardian Post and the Horizon. To municipal updates, it is a historic deal, one that will create thousands of jobs once it kicks off. Good news, no doubt, but the Post was keen on dealing with the rumors on the interim Minister of Mines issuing mining permits to an Australian company, allegations Professor Fu Callistus Gentry refutes on the July 29, 2024 publication. This week as well, Cameroon Insider took an interest in drugging the drug menace, an analysis inspired after the Minister of Territorial Administration supervised the destruction of seized cannabis worth 400 million CFA francs. The story is recounted on the Reporter. A zero-tolerance policy has also been imposed on absenteeism regarding the civil service, underscores the Horizon. Meanwhile, the AIDS-free holiday nationwide campaign is afoot, likewise a battle for the liver, with the ongoing month-long campaign to raise awareness on viral hepatitis. Other stories like those on voter registration, campaigns ahead of the 2025 presidentials, and the release of Junior Ngombe, a 23-year-old social media activist, gave the readership much to digest. This same week, various newspaper publications came back on the Cameroon English Language Newspaper Publishers Association's awards to persons of caliber. In the meantime, Cameroonians await good news from the Olympic team at the 2024 Paris Olympic Games. This summarizes news published on various editions of the week's oldest traditional media outlets.
Thank you very much, Yoti. I'm going to move over to our pressman on the set. Lucas, what actually caught your attention? What stood out in that press review that Yoti did for us?
Yeah, two things stood out for me. The Paris Olympic that is making headline news because our head of state went there.
And then we have the first athlete who is already qualifying to bring us a medal out of 6.
And then another thing that really, I'm not saying because it is on my newspaper, it is the issue of the Minat boss destroying seized cannabis, seized marijuana worth 400 million. My problem here is how did it get to Yaoundé, because the marijuana was caught at the entrance of Yaoundé. All along, we've been talking about drug abuse in schools, and it has been causing to see students stabbing teachers because they are drugged and all those type of things. I've had a worry, even when we went to, when I assisted at the destruction of this, I had a worry. I saw children of 19 years that were caught, and the people transporting the marijuana, and the marijuana left Kumbo and transited through Noon to center, Noon West and to center. So I'm asking myself, what are the police officials, what are those checkpoints that are mounted on the road doing? That marijuana can leave Kumbo and is only caught at the entrance of Yaoundé. There's a question, big question sign there.
Thank God it was the same police, well, security forces that caught it. You're very right.
Yeah, the same police and security forces that caught it. But if I were a decision maker in this country, all those along the line from Kozwa, where the police seized the marijuana, to Kumbo, need to be sanctioned. Otherwise, they are accomplices. Because it was not something that was hidden in a small bag. It's a whole truck of 62 bags. A truck transporting it means that all the checkpoints on the road, even if there are just 5 checkpoints, it could not pass through all the 5 checkpoints without one of the checkpoints identifying that they were transporting marijuana. There's something actually wrong. So we need to, our country, the police need to do their work. They need to do serious work because it was coming to Yaoundé, and it was, according to police sources, it was going to be, according to the guys, it was going to go to the east, to the Littoral, and to be distributed in Yaoundé.
Thank you very much. Well, the police is doing its work. That's why they are the police that caught this thing. It's true that it was already at the entry point, but they did their work. They should do more. That's what you were saying. Yes, Yvonne?
I'm going to surprise you with my appreciation of the different news facts. Yes, 62 bags of marijuana destroyed. How much does that contribute to our economy? I think pharmaceutical firms and even those who produce cosmetic products use that product. Could that not be sold and increase to the already very poor coffers of this country? We heard here how we are poor and we are still borrowing. Was the best burning that to melt in the air? Another huge question, 6 athletes and a delegation of more than 100 people or below.
No, not more than 100.
Okay.
45.
Oh, to 6.
36.
Oh, 36. So you divide by 6 is each athlete had 6. Not to talk of the number 1 person of this state, the head of state, accompanying the athletes to Paris. Cameroon, le continent, this Africa in miniature.
We don't have minor sports and major sports. So
good. We know it's in Cameroon that we don't have minor nor major. For 36 people to accompany 6. Were they their coaches, or what was their presence in Paris going to contribute again to the economy of this country? My questions may sound rhetorical, but me, who knows what the bread basket, what the daily bread basket of Cameroonians face, I think there's too much of waste.
Thank you. Just to remind you, Yvonne, that on the sidelines of the Olympic Games in Paris, France, the president met with other leaders of the world, and with the Secretary General of the United Nations Organization himself was there, and there was a summit on how sports can contribute to development. So he also had a time to meet. We know there's a delegation from France that's going to visit Cameroon. We saw that on our newspapers on a business trip led by the former French President Sarkozy.
President Sarkozy has become a businessman.
No, he's a lawyer.
Okay.
And a business.
And that's business.
Okay, so your own contribution, Robert.
You see,
what caught your attention? Please briefly, and then
you know, President Paul Biya is an archive of the modern politics in Africa. So when he went to Paris, it was just natural for all these leaders to come meet him and tap from his wisdom. So that's just a natural phenomenon. Talking about the athlete, even if it is one single athlete, it is enough for the head of state to support that athlete, that lion that is representing the nation, even if it is one or even if it is two. It is just normal. And talking about the issue of drugs is really, really sad. When my co-panelists talk about drugs worth 4 million, 400 million, I ask myself this question. For a drug of 400 million, it should be cultivated in over hectares of lands. And I believe that all lands in Cameroon do have a chiefs. All lands in Cameroon are under the guardian of a chief, under the guardian of a divisional officer, and of course a senior divisional officer, which I believe that investigation should start from there. When they're investigating, how come you have under your jurisdiction, you have hectares of land that drugs are being cultivated? So those are the sources, the way investigation is supposed to be done. And of course, if the investigations are done and these farmlands are being discovered and seen, why then these drugs that are being cultivated not being used, as Madam was saying? If there are hectares of land in which such drugs are being cultivated, those pharmaceutical companies should take over that, and so that they ensure that that sector of the economy of the country is being boosted.
Yes,
so I think that is what should be done.
Thank you very much. The reason behind the destruction is they were not meant for those pharmaceuticals. We know what is happening in our towns, in our neighborhoods, in our schools, and that's why they have to stop that, because the drugs would have ended even with some control in the wrong hands for wrong business. So Prince, President of the United Socialist Democratic Party, what caught your attention? And then we go into our discussion.
Yeah, thank you once again, Clean. What caught my attention is the discussion surrounding the arrest of this young activist, Junior Ngombe, which became very surprising to Cameroonians and to the world, that we are talking about democracy, we are talking about registration into the electoral list, and this young man takes upon himself to be able to sensitize Cameroonians through the use of modern means of communication, which is social media, and he is arrested for sensitizing Cameroonians to register in the electoral list massively, which is part of the topic we are discussing today. So I became I'm one of those people who called the attention of the authorities that be for his immediate release, and I am happy that he was released. And at the same time, we must understand that problems of a country like ours are not solved using stringent measures. You cannot keep on trying to resolve a problem by creating another problem. Our country is going through a lot right now that we don't need to create tension among citizens. So that act was irresponsible act by those who carry out that act, by arresting someone. Just like, for example, I'm here on the studio talking about this topic, which is of general interest, and then I'm arrested. What is the reason for my arrest? So people should understand, our government should understand that we are in a setup, or we are in a context where we are trying to be able to fit ourselves among the countries that call themselves democratic. And if we are supposed to fit ourselves in the country, among the countries that call themselves democratic, we should understand that there are certain things that enters within the context of democracy. And what Junior Ngombe was doing enters within the context of democracy in the country, which has to do with registration, massive registration in the electoral list. And then the second aspect is within this discussion of the arrest and burning of the product of marijuana and all of that. I believe that some of the things that all of us have said here are very, very factual. We must look into a situation where our economy is based on transformation. not on destruction. A lot of those things, I see them on TV. They go and arrest people who are selling drugs, these vendors along the road, and those medications are destroyed. Are those medications destroyed because they are bad medications, or they are destroyed because there are some other companies that don't want to see these people grow in their own sector? Those are the questions we must start asking ourselves. We must understand that we are living in an economy sector, or in an economy where we need more transformation. We can transform all of those things. In America, they use cocaine to be able to produce some of the medication that we take today.
And there is well controlled. That's just exactly what I wanted to say. It is well controlled. We don't have enough control mechanism here.
That is what
Thank you very much.
I want to say. We must build up a system where everything is under check and balances, so that we can be able to move the country forward.
Thank you very much, Prince. Just to say, the Ngombe was not released because you intervened, but because it was investigated that the person arrested was innocent. So what they do is, if you are a suspect, they arrest you, they question you, and they release you if you are not guilty. So we should arrest suspects, people who are suspected of doing wrong things, and then investigation is done. And if they are not guilty, they should be released. At this point,
it is important for us to note that some people are arrested, and through pressure they are released.
Yes, I agree with you. Thank you very much. We are going to move into our discussion, our focus for today, and we are talking election, that is mass participation in election, and how that can influence, that can affect the outcome. Given that in Cameroon this time there is an awakening where we have so many people being enthusiastic, going to get themselves registered on the electoral rolls. How can that affect? We're going to start with this report to see the trend. A few days, about 25, 27 days to the end of registration into the electoral rolls for this year. What is the situation? British Losamba reports. Yes, we may not have that report immediately, but would have liked to start with that report by Beatrice Losamba, who's going to give us the figures, the facts and figures, and how many people have registered, the total number of registered people on the electoral rolls in Cameroon as it stands, how many from each region. And I know, I'm told now that the report is ready. Let us have it.
Elections Cameroon continues to update its list of registered voters by the day. As at July 25 this year, 560,994 new voters had written their names on voters' lists that's been revised since January 1 this year in accordance with the Electoral Code. None of these new voters comes from the diaspora, which until the update from Elecam 6 days ago, still counted 18,937 voters. This takes the total number of voters registered for the upcoming presidential election to 7,922,869, 1 month to the end of the revision exercise. The highest number of new voters came from the littoral region, 179,996, the center, 120,527 voters, 60,413 from the west, 38,664 new voters were registered in the north region, a little less than that in the far north, southwest, Adamawa, east, northwest, and south regions.
What's the vacant population?
Thank you very much, Beatrice Losamba, for giving us the situation as it stands. On the 31st of every August, that is every year, the registration into the electoral registers end officially, that is the law, and starts on the 1st of January. 1st of January is a public holiday, so they actually start on the 2nd, but the law says it starts on the 1st of January. Now, we have a total of 7,922,869. That is approximately 8 million Cameroonians registered out of the 30 that is projected today. That is a good figure. That is already good, given that this should be the time we've hit that figure, Yvonne.
If we estimate the population of Cameroon at 30 million, that's not even 1/4 of the population.
It's 1/4.
We
it's more
expect
than more than one. Yes,
we expect 12 million or more registered voters in Cameroon. Why are we even just estimating? We should know the population of Cameroon and relate the number of registered voters to the population, and then we find out what percentage. And we question, why are Cameroonians so not interested in the politics of the country? Good, 8 million. If this 8 million, because we can have those numbers and they don't actually go out and vote. Our presence here is to say we can use the remaining 27 days to top this number and prepare for upcoming elections. Because when you don't go and vote, you sit behind and complain. You don't even have a right to complain because you did not participate in choosing who leads you. We can only influence policies if we participate in putting those who govern. So, I think Cameroon, we need to step up. The campaigns are on. I see a lot of enthusiasm on the field, but the leg dragging is still there because up till today, we've not even attained 1 million in the whole 2024, when we know we're even supposed to be talking about we were in an electoral year already. So, Cameroonians, we are talking to our fellow citizens. It's your duty to make sure a single ballot can change events, can change the trends. So every Cameroonian should consider their ballot paper as that weapon that you use in sanctioning any elected person you think participated in bad governance. That mayor who didn't deliver, that MP who did not deliver, even a head of state whose government did not deliver, if you don't go out to vote in a new person or maintain that person or even vote out, then how complete are you as a citizen?
Thank you very much. As a citizen, that's the essence of democracy. That is, we go by the ballot box. That is the official policy in Cameroon. If you want to get to the supreme magistracy of power of the state in Cameroon, go to the ballot box. Thank you very much. Yes, Lucas, you were just itchy to react when Yvonne was speaking.
I was very happy that my event went on a massive registration drive, calling on Cameroonians to register. But we first of all have to identify the problem. What has caused voter apathy? What is causing voter apathy? And I have 3 parameters that I think are the things that are causing voter apathy. First, Cameroonians, not only Cameroonians, people are not enthusiastic to go and vote. It is not a priority. So if there's any small barrier, they will not be there. And we have 3 barriers in Cameroon. The first barrier is the identity card. If you don't have an identity card, you cannot register. And if you cannot register, you cannot vote. That's the first barrier. The identity card was 2,800 and so many people were not even registering. It has moved up to 10,000. So no, the barrier now has increased. That is one handicap of voter apathy. The second handicap is the poor performance of those elected. Because if you vote somebody and he doesn't deliver, you don't even see why you should go and vote.
Instead, if you vote someone, the person does not deliver, you should be enthusiastic to go vote and vote out that person. What are we talking?
I'll come to that. I will tell you why people are not enthusiastic. Because now those who have been elected and they have not delivered, they are now doing selective registration. What do I mean by selective registration? They take particular people, they establish identity cards, and those people register. So they will remain there. That is what we call selective registration. We mean the poor performance of those who are there now, it is a cause for voter apathy. And when we talk of rigging, rigging does not start because somebody says that rigging starts at the counting. Because people quote the former man who says, those who cast the vote decide nothing, those who count decide everything. No. Rigging starts even at registration. This selective registration we're doing at least is already rigging. It's a some sort of rigging because I want to use a homely example. Presently, for the past 3 legislatures, only Anglophone has been parliamentarian for Yaoundé 6. This is because most of the inhabitants of Yaoundé 6 are Anglophones. Imagine that somebody comes to Yaoundé 6 now and calls all his tribesmen to go and register in Yaoundé 6. That is selective registration, and that is rigging.
That's right.
That is rigging. So, to me, massive registration does not necessarily mean massive voting, or does not necessarily mean it's going to affect a change. Because an election has 2 parameters. The 2 parameters of election is legality and legitimacy. Legality is that elections were supposed to be organized on the 12th. They are organized on the 12th. That's legality. And in Cameroon, it's relative majority. If 5 people vote and you have 4, you have won. But are you legitimate? That is the problem Yvonne was raising here. In a population of 30 million, let's say in a population of 30 million, we have 20 million potential voters. Of the 20 million potential voters, you must have 10 plus 1. That if you have 11 million registered people and you are elected by 11 million registered people, you are legal and legitimate.
Yes, I get your point. But what I'm asking is, you are elected by people who decide not to turn out. Is this your problem of legality and legitimacy?
No, it's not a problem. The problem here is, Kilian, about the ID card. You know, let's even leave the ID card. Go to the metropolis where people, because the state of the economy, this is a scientific, researcher. The state of the economy determines whether people register or not. Somebody who lives hand to mouth will not leave his daily chores where he gets bread to go and waste it. He said he's going to waste his time to register. That's why when you go to, if you go to the far north, you see more people register there. Why? Because they have activities that are limited, and then they have elite that do this selective registration. They just come and carry, most of them go establish identity cards and they register them. And to them, voting, because it is equally a matter of culture. It is a matter of culture too. To them, they believe in their adults, they believe in their lamidos, they believe in their elite. When they say today is voting,
in short, what you are talking about is their leaders.
Yeah, their leaders. They go and vote.
Okay.
Now, my friend, my bosom friend, let me use the word, my bosom friend Prince is here. He's a political leader. He's a leader of
national president of
a political party.
United Socialist Democratic Party.
He has been preaching about voter registration. That ends in the metropolis here. Even if he goes to the village, the old mother will wanting Prince to facilitate the registration. Now in the metropolis, when Prince talk about voter registration, as I said, the state of the economy equally determines whether people go register or not. And when people go and register, Prince might influence 100 people to go and register. The day of voting, if you don't have any incentive, not 20 will go and vote.
Yeah. Okay,
I'm not talking from the blues. I'm talking of things that I have witnessed myself.
Thank you. And I just move over to Prince, the president of United Socialist Democratic Party, whom you have called your friend, but you have undercut him from under by saying he is only in the towns, he's not going to the suburbs. Yes. Prince, you react to that and then tell us exactly how elections, when people are registered en masse and vote, how it can affect the outcome of the elections.
First of all, I want to thank my bosom friend, Lucas, because, in fact, he's a bosom friend, to be honest. You know, basically, let me first of all just give some kudos to ELECAM and to political parties and civil society organizations for the effort that they have been making throughout this year, you know, to be able to make sure that people register, and we are seeing the numbers there increasing from 7 million now, almost 8 million thereabout. So I appreciate ELECAM and the political parties that have been doing the work to stimulate voters' interest in registration. But at the same time, just like Lucas mentioned, it's like maybe he was reading my mind, because what he just said there, they are here on my notes. Mm-hmm. Before we even talk about 8 million registered voters in the new figures that ELECAM has provided, and for people to be able to register in the electoral list, what is the actual population of the country? When was the last population census done in Cameroon? The 30 million that we are assuming, is it actually 30 million Cameroonians that are...
Just 1 minute.
Yes,
That's
sir.
a question we as CRTV asked to the National Institute for Statistics,
Yeah.
and the officials there told us that the 30 million is exact. You might not have had one official event or where they come and say this is what they did. They told us that they have so many parameters by which they used to know that, and that when they will come up and they say they are coming up very soon, you will be convinced that we are 30 million. Yes, you can go ahead.
All right. So, well, from your, you know, submission with regards to what the National Institute for Statistics are saying, but they have not come out public to go to tell Cameroonians that, okay, this is the situation. Let's leave it at that. Now, let us look at the situation for the 8 million Cameroonians who ELECAM says that they have registered in the electoral list. We have had a series of meetings with ELECAM, you know, and I've posed this question consistently. Looking at the technicalities for voters registration, and when I talk about technicalities, we talk about the mechanism that is used to be able to register people in the electoral list, like the kits that are available, the machines that are used to be able to register people. We have noticed severally that when you register, let me say about after maybe 50 or 60 people, the machine will automatically cease from functioning. Mm-hmm. And I've posed this question severally to the president of ELECAM, to the director of ELECAM. We've had open confrontation about this issue, and they have said, like what you are saying, that the National Institute for Statistics said that they have different parameters that they're going to do all of these things to be able to take Cameroonians, whether they are 30 million or not. What I am trying to say is this: when you don't create the necessary atmosphere where people find it exciting to participate in their civic responsibility, like when you go to ELECAM to register, and you discover that after some period of time the machine will not work, and then you have to wait. People will wait for maybe 1 hour or so for you to
reset the machine.
To reset. I mean, those are all evidence or aspect that actually creates voters' apathy. Why should I, like Lucas mentioned, why should I leave my hustling to go and stay in ELECAM's office for 2 hours, 3 hours, just to register to exercise my civil right?
Okay.
Those are the things that actually creates, you know, the impression that our system, you know, is not willing to be able to make sure that we have credible election and we have legitimacy in the process of the election.
Thank you.
We must also understand that the issue of voters' age, if people can be arrested at the age of 15 and jailed, how come that same age cannot exercise his or her citizens' right, like voting? We must understand that we have a platform of political parties, 7 of us. We wrote a consensual proposal for the rectification of the electoral code. Since close to 3 years now, That document is lying at the presidency because we sent a copy to the president. We sent copies to all the institutions in Cameroon, especially to MINAT and a number of other people, and to diplomatic agencies. We are still waiting to see that the age, the voter, one of the aspects that we raised was voters' age. You cannot be persecuting someone at 18, and that same person cannot vote. So we should bring back voters' age at 18. When you bring down that age, you discover that these young people who have vision for their lives, but they feel that politics is an obstacle, they will get involved into that politics to be able to make sure that that politics becomes a sane environment for them to be able to participate for the change that they want. So 18 years of age is but normal for, I was hoping that the last parliamentary session that passed, those were some of the things that we were supposed to be discussing there. Just like Lucas mentioned, sorry that I'm always quoting you. You cannot vote somebody and the person does not deliver. And then you think that the person is going to deliver maybe when his mandate has been extended, like what is the case now. Okay. So we should understand that the times have changed and we must be able to change with the times. I hope by this debate today, we will be able to create an environment where the powers that be will be able to sit down and to reflect on the way forward for this country, because many things are happening around Africa. We don't want the things that are happening around Africa to be able to happen to Cameroon. And when you actually put people under a certain situation and they cannot be able to exercise themselves or exercise their rights, they may exercise it in other ways.
Thank you
and
very
we don't
much.
want that to happen in Cameroon.
No, nobody wants that to happen. It will not happen in Cameroon. Thank you very much, Prince, the president of the United Socialist Democratic Party. And now I go to Robert. You are an official of the communication unit network of the Central Committee of the CPDM. And we know that the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement is noted for its mass mobilization of Cameroonians. That's why we are told they've been winning all the elections. The last presidential election was 71% or so. Tell us how mass participation can affect or has been affecting the outcome in the case of your party.
Yes, you talked about my party, which our Secretary General gave high instructions to all presidents, subsection president, and the rest to ensure that all militants do register. Now, before we want to talk about registration in Cameroon and bring out figures, we should be able to look at the population pyramid of our country. Cameroon is divided into 3 age groups. We have the young, the adult, and the age group. And we know that in Cameroon, we have only the adult and the age group that does register and vote. And when you analyze all this, you look at the fact that the population in Cameroon that is supposed to register and vote is about 13 to 14 million. Because when you people say here on platform that only 8 million in 30 million, you are making the figure to be very, very low. When you all know that majority of that 8 million fall below 18 years and they don't vote. So thereby giving wrong statistics. Because if you see that 8 million people in 30 million, you are giving a score of about 20 something. Whereas we know that adult and the age population are the one voting, and they are about 13 to 14 million of the population. And if 8 million has registered, then we have over 50% of those that are eligible to vote that have registered.
That analysis?
That is how we should give statistics to the Cameroonian people. We are supposed to be Christianic so that they understand.
The CPDM should give Cameroonians official statistics. You said that's how we should give.
Madam,
you don't give us our perspective of how things happen in Cameroon. That's what the party in power should do. Give us real statistics of how many we are, how many participate in vote, and if you give those percentages, that your pyramid, you take the different age groups, from which scientific research, which proof do you have that a majority of Cameroonians are the middle class and the East.
I think
The
one
youth
Can I
of
proceed?
Cameroon, the youth of Cameroon who enroll into the military, who, for the greatest number that died during all the crises, are youth 18. If they can enroll and die, they should be able to register and vote.
I concur with you. I do not disagree with you. But I'm talking about the age pyramid here. And okay, so when we say 30 million, which all of you here cited.
No. Don't say all of us.
Okay.
No, that's an official figure.
That's the official figure.
It's an official, whether you cite it or not. Whether they have cited it or not, it is an official figure. We cannot dispute that.
Okay.
No, the point is this. The point is this. The point is this. Yes.
You cannot be raising fallacies.
No.
I pull back my words. I pull back my words.
No, you cannot put back your words. I think that your analysis.
No,
you are
according to you.
Please, can I talk?
Yes, you're going to continue. It is your play. What he is saying is what is official. We have 30 million Cameroonians. And if you go to the National Institute for Statistics, as I said, I went there myself.
Give us the sexually disaggregated data.
Yes.
How many women do we have? How many what?
Can I proceed?
Give us that.
Now, if the institution in charge of statistics have said we are about 30 million, it is but true that we cannot have as an agenda for 30 million to vote. We have children of 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. We have to consider that to have a total number of people that are eligible to vote. So we should not calculate that figure of 80 over 30. That's my point. It is wrong because we have children from 0 to 18 years that they don't vote, and they are majority of the population. That's a fact. That I'm not withdrawing it. To go further again, I just want to make please. I'm being perturbated. Allow me to speak. You jot it down, then you continue.
Just let him go to the end. Let him go to the end of his point, and then.
Secondly, I want to appreciate Elekam. With my investigation and my open studies all over Africa, almost all the countries in Africa, citizens go to the office of Elekam and register. But in Cameroon, we see Elekam at the market, Jangi houses. In fact, you see Elekam everywhere. I think the only place I've not seen Elekam that have gone with their machineries to register people, I think it's only at the cemetery. They are everywhere. We even go further again to talk about this, the effort of Elekam. We've looked at the statistic that has just been published some few seconds ago. The Northwest, with the crisis, is one of the 3 regions with the highest number of registration.
The Northwest is not the highest. Northwest has 23,000.
Last but one.
Yes, last but one. Last but one, yeah.
With the level of the crisis that we've all seen, Elekam officials, with all the threat, they are still moving to the people.
And
so
remember, the Northwest is a politically sensible. They are aware.
Those are the things that we should appreciate. When you look at the effort of Elekam, when you look at the percentage of people that have registered, if you want to, let me just do a comparative politics. Look at the population of Nigeria of over 200. The population that is supposed to vote is about 130. And how many voted? Look, same with America, with more over 300 and something million population. About 66 of registered voters are the ones that always vote. That's comparative politics. So when you come back, you look at the way the Cameroonian people are registering, the number of the age, you look at the effort of Elekam, then I just concur to appreciate President Paul Biya that he will actually be remembered as the person that brought democracy as he did promise.
Yes, he said that. Okay, Lucas, now you have listened to your friend.
You see, I always like that when you have a panel, you bring in
people like Robert. Thank you. That's why I brought him.
Irrespective of all we tried to calm him down. He had his agenda and he has delivered.
Yes.
Which is the agenda of his party.
I
like being loyal.
Like other people have. I should remind you that we have introduced him as an official communication official of the Central Committee of the CPDM. So he has done his work.
Yes. Talking about statistics,
and I also also like the fact that he has backed his argument with statistics. Yes. Statistics do not belong to a party.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
I was just trying to refute the fact that you said all of us just said we're talking about. I told you, and I'll repeat what I said, that when we talk about 8 million, that we should know the population of Cameroon and we know those who are eligible to vote. Right. When we know those who are eligible to vote, we will now compare those who have registered to see whether we are backwards or we are forward. Because when we start, all what we're saying, your statistics are not published everywhere. What we know is what Elekama said, 8 million people have registered. And every Cameroonian, I and you here, we can do scientific research, we can do scientific investigation to know that we have youths, we have young people who are not eligible. But will you go and tell my mother in village that we are 30 million, Mama? No, only 8 million register. What does she understand?
No, you should, when you are telling her, you should let her know that there is a part of the population that by law they are not yet qualified. Thank you. We have 3 minutes left, and I think Yvonne will not be happy if I don't give her the opportunity to say something before we go. Yes, your take-home message.
My take-home message is the same. The entire electoral code has to be revisited to encourage Cameroonians with regards to their citizen participation. It's bad, but we continue living in the same system. So, fellow Cameroonians, choose the ballot box, not the guns. Let's choose the ballot box for a change.
Thank you very much. That's the official policy of Cameroon. Now, the president, the national president of the United Socialist Democratic Party, Prince Ngwese Ekoso, I would like that your last word should tie in with the question that we are attempting to answer. How can mass participation affect outcome of an election?
Yeah, thank you very much once again. Like I said earlier, I belong to a platform of political parties that sat for about close to 1 year and something to document, a consensual proposal for the revision of the electoral code. And that document is very rich, and we have proposed that document to the public, to the authorities that be. They should look at that, because that could have been, a booster, if those revisions were taken into consideration to make sure that Cameroonians become very, very interested in participating in the registration or registration into the electoral list. The second point I want to make us to understand is that we of that same platform, we have an agenda to go from one region to the other to encourage Cameroonians to register massively in the electoral list. That agenda is still in progress. And it is my opinion that even though we have
1 minute to the end of
the limited
program.
time for voter registration is on the 31st of this month, I want to believe that there's a possibility for us to be able to prolongate, the process so that it can continue. Since next year is an election year. So I'm calling on the powers that be that they should extend, the registration period so that Cameroonians can keep on registering till maybe June next year.
Thank you. It's law that has to go through.
Then I also
30 seconds.
Yes, I also want to add that with regard to registration, as one of my co-panelists said, please, the price of ID card might be increased next year. At this time, it's still 2,800, and you can still use your récépissé to register the receipt to register and participate for the upcoming elections.
Thank you.
I just want our people to understand.
Thank you very much. And that's Robert Kedia, who is an official of the communication network of the Central Committee of the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement. Thank you very much. You came from Douala for this program. Thank you very much, Prince Michael Ekoso, who is the national president of the United Socialist Democratic Party. Thank you for coming. Thank you very much, Yvonne Mumabi, always true to herself. Civil society activist. He promised that you were going to see her only in that role, and that's the role she has played. Thank you very much, Lucas Teneng Chefo, the publisher of the Reporter newspaper. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you also for watching us from wherever you watch us from your homes. If there's anything you missed out on this program, you will have a rebroadcast, a full rebroadcast on Monday at 2:30 p.m. on CRTV, where you're watching us now, and on Wednesday at 9 p.m. That's after the news in the French language on CRTV News. Be a blessing to the world. Thank you very much for being there for us.